How you feel about Dez holding out? I mean, about the Cowboys holding out on Dez. If they were just going to increase it by about $2 million.
Education and respect. There's no other way to get to the real problem and the real solutions if we don't have those.
Disappointing. Thought you got a for me. Okay, I'm sorry.
Hey, what's up? I'm Isaac of STI740.
My name is Isaiah Cherry with the entertainment section of STI740.
Freedom of speech.
Right to bear arms.
The government cannot take your room aboard.
The government cannot search or take any property of the citizens without a warrant.
You cannot be tried for the same crime twice.
We guarantee speedy trial, impartial jury, and must have a lawyer.
Guarantees a jury trial and federal court cases.
Excessive fines and uncruel punishment is not allowed in civil court cases.
Just because other rights are not listed, they still exist and can still be violated.
Any powers that doesn't belong to the federal government belong to the state.
That right there was your 10 amendments. Everyone should know this. And throughout this video, we want you guys to continuously think about this and tell us if what some of these people's actions that they have done, if they violated.
And did you guys know that the city of Irving was one of 5 cities out of the whole United States to be selected to receive funds for buildings, for clothing, for all types of necessity that citizens need nowadays? Well, the city of Irving denied that funds for 25 years because they knew that funds would go towards the Bear Creek. And the Bear Creek is mainly populated with minorities of being black because it was such of a plantation that Irving did not want the black people to get the money. Now, I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I think that's kind of wrong, and that's kind of going against the Constitution, which we have our own rights for. Now, the city of Irving should have known that they were doing something, pretty negative if they were denying funds to help out the city. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but that goes against the Constitution if you ask me.
They actually turned down $80 million. Not because they didn't need it, but because it would have to go to cities, counties, towns like Bear Creek, which is what he said was full of minority. And then also they had a slave plantation, and they said a man that my dad interviewed recently, Anthony Bond, he went there and he said it was just disgusting because the gravestones were knocked over, the cattle had urine on all of it. And that was just one of the most disrespectful things. And he said he sat there and cried because it was just so disrespectful how things happened. And he spent 6 months trying to find out who owned the plantation, who was the most recent owner. And he said what he found was just nasty.
And my name is Sovereign, and I'm going to be the next Jeff Hardy. Hello everyone, my name is Langston, and I gave Bill Gates a loan.
My name is Amir Griffin, and I'm going to be the next LeBron James. My name is Trinity, and I'm here today to help the community.
My name is Christian, I'm going to be the best kid rapper in your life.
My name is Isaac Green, and I'm here to help out.
It's not just an event, it's a movement.
We're here to represent the youth, be a voice for the community, and be an advocate for our police officers.
Rebuild, restore, rejoice. We have to be the change that we want to see. Because I'm starting with the man in the mirror. Not now, you do that after. You should know it's not time to... No?
Everyone in this room should know and understand the Bill of Rights.
The gives freedom of speech and the press, which give me the right to sing.
The Second Amendment gives us the right to bear arms.
The Third Amendment guarantees that the Army cannot force any homeowner for their room and board.
The Fourth Amendment, police should not enter a home without a warrant.
The Fifth Amendment states you cannot be tried for the same crime twice.
The Sixth Amendment guarantees any trial. The Sixth Amendment guarantees any trial and impartial jury.
The Seventh Amendment guarantees a jury trial in federal civil court cases. The Eighth Amendment guarantees that all punishments will be fair and that all charges that are large will not be set.
The Ninth Amendment says there are more rights that are not listed, but those rights cannot be violated.
The 10th Amendment says that any power not created by federal government belongs to the states.
These are the first 10 amendments to the Bill of Rights.
I said that we are all OCC PAL. OCC PAL is officers communicating with the community as PAL. What we're doing is we are the dialogue like what we are having now between the community and the police officers. What you see here, we have, this whole show is ran by youth. We have youth over there at the tables, youth editing, and just youth doing everything they can. STI740 is the sports and education talk show. What we do is we talk sports and education. We have had so many people on our show that it's crazy. And after every show, the only thing you hear them say is, oh, this was great. Everything was so positive, which is what we need to be, which is what we need to hear more of. Because every time you hear the police talk, you think bad things. What we're trying to do is, for every negative thing that goes out, we release 3 times as much positive things. Like with Sandra Bland, we all know what the officer did was wrong. But what STI740 is, we're releasing more positive things. So yes, what they did was wrong. And by doing this, what we're having today, we'll have the community will be able to voice their frustrations to the police officers, and the police officers will be able to answer them, which is what we need more of. And that is OCC PAL.
Now go ahead and tell us, Malcolm, what song are you guys going to be singing?
I'm going to be singing a song on my single. It's called I'm Ready. My album's coming out August 21st. Still standing. I'm a gospel artist right here from Dallas, Texas.
Well, there you guys have it. This is Malcolm about to take the stage.
Good evening. Well, good afternoon. It's good to be here. It's good to see that the youth are trying to do something positive in the community. And when it comes to the youth, I'm very open to doing anything. So I'm gonna need y'all to get ready. I'm gonna need y'all to get into it. We gonna go take this to a higher level. We gonna get turned up in here, as the kids would say, and we gonna usher in the community on what we're trying to do. Put your hands together. Choose right now to take a stand and put my trust in you, knowing that you're capable to do the impossible. Equip you with your armor, standing on your word, and with no hesitation, I surrender, 'cause I'm ready to do what you want me to do. I'm ready. All I want to do is please you. In a world full of compromise, I refuse to do everything that others do. And some might think it's pressure, but I know it's better. The greater one's inside of me, and that's why I'm ready. Here I am, I'm ready, ready. And you just let me know. I'ma say it again. Listen. In the world full of compromise, I refuse to to do everything that others do. That some might think is pressure, but I know it's better. Greater ones inside of me, and that's why I'm ready. Here I am, I know. I'm ready, ready. And you just let me know. And listen what the kids are trying to do. I'm giving you myself and this time I'm going all the way. Here is my heart, my soul and mind. So have your way. I'm ready to taste the love that your love made me crave. I'm ready. Hey, to let the world know that Jesus said, I'm ready. I'm ready. Hands together. It's just like fire. Should have been my flow. I'm ready. Holy Ghost, won't leave me alone to bring His message to the world. I'm ready. To everyone before you. Hey, ready. 'Cause I'm ready. Hey, I'm ready. I'm ready. Listen, I'm giving you myself and this time I'm going all the way. Here is my heart, my soul and mind. Y'all sing it, have your way. I'm ready to taste the love of the loving ways. I'm ready to let the world know that Jesus said, I'm ready. See y'all, it's just like fire. Should have been my bones. I'm ready. Holy Ghost won't leave me alone to bring His message to the world. I'm ready. To everyone before you. I'm ready. 'Cause I'm ready. Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready. Yeah. Thank you. Now let's give another round of applause to Malcolm. That was a really good job. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I think I'm ready too, but you guys have to help me out a little bit. I mean, come on, y'all gotta give better applause than that. Alright, now with that said, we're gonna have a game prize giveaway. And Lacey, you wanna go ahead and tell them what it is?
Who likes to eat at Subway? Everybody likes Subway? Well, you also have to like to dance. Because we're about to have a dance contest for a Subway gift card. So who wants to come up here and show off their moves? Don't he do it for me? Now watch me whip. Now watch me dance. Now watch me whip. Watch me dance. Now watch me whip. Watch me dance. Now watch me whip. Watch me dance. Now watch me. Aaron? Let's hear it for Aaron. Let's hear it for Jasmine. Let's hear it for Lincoln.
I don't know. I think Aaron got it. I think Aaron got it. Jasmine. I'm sorry. I think Jasmine. Now, we're going to the interview with the OCC pals, with the police officers. We're about to have a dialogue. Good talk. Good talk.
We're really enjoying the event so far. We're happy to be here to represent the Dallas Police Department. My name is City Corporal Anderson. Been on 19 years.
I'm City Corporal Mars, and I've been out for 6 years.
I'm Officer Haka. I've been on for 12 years.
I'm Officer Shepard. I've been on for 14 years.
Wow, that is a really long time. So, can you guys tell me, what do you guys feel to get out of this event today?
Well, the whole point of this is to come out and show a positive side to all of the youth. Because I actually work in police athletic league, so my job is to go out in the community and start programs that connect the youth and the police officers to show them the positive side that we come out and we do things that's actually beneficial to the community. So an event like this is helpful in that regard because we're able to come out and have dialogue and show everybody that, there are some good police officers out there.
What we can do as a community to begin to have better relations with the police officers. I live in the Forest Lane area. And I have to say that we don't have good relationships with the officers in our area. I'm a single mother. Yeah, forgive me, I don't want to be on TV, but I have a really good question. And, for me, it is really important to have a good relationship with the police officers who patrol my area. So what I want to know is from the police, what can we do to better have relationships with you all, that when you're patrolling our community, are you policing us or are you protecting and serving?
That was a very good question. The first part of what we do as officers is we're not policing. We're always here to protect and serve. And as a citizen, if you'd like to get to know your officer in your neighborhood better, whether you see them parked at a location just monitoring or driving around, just simple things in the community like waving or talking to the officer, greeting of the day, participating in your crime watch meetings or local homeowners meetings or apartment meetings that you have where officers come out. A big attendance at that, where you get to interact with the officer and get to know them a little better. That is a positive way to understand what we're doing and what you can do as a citizen to help your environment become safer. That's the best interaction you can get. Interactions on calls and things like that tend to be a higher stress situation. They're definitely not the best time to get to know your officer, but the positive times are during local events, school events, community health fairs, and things of that. High participation will be a positive for not only you, but for the officer and the department and the rest of the community.
Anybody else got anything to say?
I'm going to echo what my colleague said. That is a very, very good question. Also, attending events like today is a very good opportunity to walk up, talk to officers in this type of a setting, and get to know them a little bit better, even though we're not actually in your community right now at this time. But another thing is to try not so much always to see the police officers as officers. A lot of times, you know, just because of, you know, high intensity situations and stuff that has been said in the news and that you see all the time, that sometimes it's easy to forget that we are parents, fathers, brothers, sisters, store owners, parents just like yourselves. So.
It was said that the police used to walk around the communities and neighborhoods. When and why did that stop?
That's another good question. Back in the day when I very first hired on about 12 years ago, so up to that point, there used to be what was called a beat officer that used to be in an area, and that was his area. And if you lived in that area, worked in that area, you saw that officer on a continual basis throughout their shifts. As the department has progressed, we have, and the city has grown, we have become what's called a 911 department. We answer a lot of 911 calls, and the volume is so high that a lot of officers don't necessarily have the time to make it to the area that they're assigned to throughout their shift consistently. So what the Chief Brown has done is he has reinforced community policing, where in the Pals program, to reach out to the community because the regular officers on the beat don't have time. So myself and like Navarre, Officer Navarre, we interact with the community. There are community neighborhood patrol officers all throughout the whole department in every division, and PALS goes all over the whole city. So what our job is to make up for the lack of the patrol officer being able to have that relationship. We have the relationship for them, and then they answer the 911 calls when the citizens need it.
So what is the hardest things that you got? No, better question. How do you guys balance your job and personal life?
I guess since I've been on the longest. Well, that's normally the hard part because it's really tough because sometimes you're at a high stress level and you have to come down to a low stress level. And sometimes the officers, sometimes they don't do a very good job at that. You take a stressful situation and sometimes it gets blown out of proportion because the officer may be stressed out. You know, we have more training than we probably know what to do with, but sometimes it just comes down, like Officer Shep said, is you being human. Sometimes you're emotional, sometimes you're stressed. So that's the hardest part for us. I mean, officers have a high divorce rate, we have a high suicide rate, I mean, all those things. So there's a lot of personal issues and things that are happening sometimes that the general public may not be looking at. So in my 19 years, I've learned to have hobbies, do other things outside of my job, spend time with my family, spend time with my kids. So those issues are important, and that's a good way to give back to the community also, because if I'm able to go out and do programs like this, it brings that stress level down for me and for the community. So that's one good way to do it.
So when you get pulled over, what is the protocol?
First and foremost, stay calm. First and foremost, stay calm. For us in the officer's perspective, what we would like for citizens to do at that time is to stay calm also. That's the first thing, stay calm. Okay? Second thing is respect. You know, you don't have to trust the police officer at all. Some police officers I don't trust. But if we can start at the level of respect for each other, I think whatever has transpired or occurred, whatever the violation has been, we can work through it together. So, first and foremost, we want everybody to stay calm. And then the second thing, I think, which is really, really important, is to have that respect for each other. I don't want you to have to try and trust a police officer, but at least respect his position and authority, okay? Until, you know, I mean, he show you otherwise. Until he show you otherwise, and that's just human, and that's just real. Respect the person until they show you otherwise, and then we'll move on from there. How about that? That's okay?
I would just like to add, just follow the officer's instructions. If he asks just for your ID, go ahead and hand them your ID, or let him know you don't have an ID, but just follow the instructions.
Okay, so what happens when someone gets pulled over and they ask, what did I do? Is the officer supposed to wait or tell them right there?
Well, normally in training, in protocol, there's such thing called a 7-step traffic stop. Most people don't know about this, but in certain departments, and Dallas is one, and not that all officers do, but there is a protocol for you from the time you approach that vehicle to the time you leave that vehicle. And we see on the news all the time that officers get outside of that training, and that's when we have problems. Because normally when they come into the car, they should greet you. Say, hello, I'm Officer Anderson, the Dallas Police Department. Then if you go into, I stopped you because, that eliminates a lot of the confusion right there. Because most of the time when most people get pulled over, it's because they're confused. They may think you're racial profiling or something, or they didn't do anything wrong. So if you point out to them what they did right off the bat, that eliminates that. So there's no confusion. And then you go through, you get the ID, you ask them, ask if they have any warrants, those type of things. You go back, you run the night, then you explain to them how to take, if you're going to issue a citation, then you explain to them how to take care of the citation. Or if they have warrants, then you're going to arrest them. So most of it is just communication on the officer part. But a lot of times, when there is a lack of respect from the citizen or the officer, then that whole process gets thrown off. And that's when we run into issues. So, just like Officer Shepard said, the main thing is just to show respect. If that officer's wrong and they do something wrong, you got their name, their badge number, there are protocols in place for you to file complaints against that officer. So, don't ever think you don't have a voice, or you have to be just wrong and you have to accept that. And we have a lot of officers get disciplined, fired, go to jail every day. So, it's not like you're above the law. There are still rules in place for officers as well. So sometimes they just have to follow that. If they don't, we're all officers. The whole code blue thing that people talk about, if I see somebody doing something wrong, I'm going to turn them in just like I would any other citizen.
So how do you file a complaint against the officer? Because you said there's certain things that you have to do.
Well, now with the dash cam videos and the body mics, there's a recorded evidence of that. So what you can do, you can go into your local substation, you can ask for that, you can take that officer's name, badge number, you can file a complaint there at that station. You can go down, here in Dallas, you can come down to 1400 Lamar. We have a whole internal affairs division. That's all they do, all day, every day, is investigate police officers for misconduct or things that they do wrong. And they have to take your complaint. So if you feel like you were done wrong and you can prove it, then hey, you can walk in and file that complaint. I think you can even do it online. So there's a lot of different options for you to right or wrong if you feel like you were wrong. And I encourage everybody to make sure you know that, because a lot of people don't. Because I'm in the process of developing a card that we can pass out to our young adults to tell them exactly these type of things, because most people don't know that. You just think it's supposed to get done wrong and accept it, but that's not true. So, but you can't hold court at the scene. Get through the situation, stay calm, be respectful. Then you go handle it after the fact. If my daughter's 18, I tell her the same thing I would tell anybody else. You be respectful at the time, then you come tell me, then we'll deal with it later. But don't try to hold a court out there at the scene. It's not going to end well for you. So don't do it.
So a lot of guys think that a lot of police officers get told bad things from the community. What do you guys think can help to make them stop calling you guys that?
If I understand the question correctly, I think it's kind of two sides to that. I mean, some police officers get, bad information given to them from members in the community who are not actually on board with what the police officers do, what their purpose is, what their role is in the community. And I believe that also there were some officers who have also not really addressed or taking care of their responsibility for as in the role that we play in the community. The thing of it is that the city of Dallas doesn't license us as police officers. The state of Texas does that. And they don't license us as police officers. They license us as peace officers. The state of Texas licenses peace officers, okay? It takes the city or municipality in which you live in to give them the job of police officer. So the first and foremost thing that I think which is important right there is that we are peace officers first and foremost. Peace officers. So having that in mind, that is our goal, our wish and our hope that every officer that wears a uniform remembers that coming to any situation that we want to de-escalate something that is high and intense so that we can come to a resolution that is peaceful and the outcome is all right for everyone involved. That's what it is.
So, tell us a little bit about Pal.
Oh, okay. Pal, like I said, it's just basically, and for everybody in the city, we do have information over on our table. We got a church group, community group. We deal with kids all day, every day, all the way from 5 or 6, all the way up to 18. We're hosting a basketball camp that we do. We do soccer camps. We come out to any community event. We come out. We go into the schools. We have mentoring programs that we do at several of the elementary schools and middle schools. So we're out there trying to, like I always tell the kids, I want to deal with you in a positive situation. I don't want it to be negative when I have to talk to you or I have to deal with you. And I don't want you to feel like, I'm thinking I'm better than you, but I am an adult, so you have to respect me as such first. I'm a police officer second. So we have to teach the kids that sometimes from the time they're in elementary school all the way up, so that when they become young adults, 14, 15, preteens as we call them, and they have a level of respect that they may not be getting at home sometimes. So that's what we do. And my unit has 16 officers now, and we're all over the city. So like I said, if you have an organization, a church group, anything, we work with everyone to try to make sure that our message gets spread across the whole city of Dallas.
Hello, I'm Isaac Cherry, and I'm an OCC Pal. You want to become an OCC Pal? Go to www.occpal.net. Do it. It's fun.
Did you ever see a smile? Did you ever? She wouldn't do that. No mother in their right mind would do that. Starting in the NAACP chapter in Irving. I said, what?
Alright, so does anybody else have a question from the crowd? We'll get you later. We got you next. I ain't gonna forget about you.
Yes, my question to the Dallas Police Department is, I was listening to the news radio recently and they were saying how Dallas Police Force is one of the lowest paid in the Metroplex, and I was wondering what personally keeps you here on the Dallas force versus leaving to go to one of the other suburbs or big cities like Fort Worth to be on their police force?
That's a very tough question, but easy. Okay, it just depends on the level and where you're at in your own career. If you know that's a choice you make. But what keeps me here in Dallas is I have you know a love for this community because it's like the community in which I grew up in. I like the job in which I have in the police department at this time, being in the PAL unit. And it gives me an opportunity to reach out and touch some young men because before I became a police officer, personally, before I became a police officer, I was a correctional officer. I worked in the state jails and prisons, and I saw young men my age and younger in situations because of the choices that they made to get there. And a lot of them didn't feel like they had any other resolution but to choose the road in which they did. And I said, guess what? I'm in the wrong place. I can't affect the real change here with them. If I come out and be a police officer in the community, maybe I'll get that chance. So that's why I'm saying that.
Well, I guess after 19 years, my pay is okay, and I can't leave now, but I'm closer to retirement than I'm leaving. So, but no, for me as well, when I first started and I said I wanted to be a police officer, my grandmother was like, why you want to be a police officer? But because growing up, I probably had a couple of incidents where I probably didn't trust the police or probably felt like I was done wrong by police. But in my neighborhood, and I grew up here in Oak Cliff, wanted to say, hey, you know, some of us can be from Oak Cliff and still patrol Oak Cliff and give it a positive light to the officers because sometimes they didn't always do right. But in this regard, I'm able to do that. And I can be one of the police officers say, well, you know, have people in the community come up and say, hey, I'm glad you're the one that took me to jail because you did me all right, you're all right. And so that's a positive thing. That's what keeps me here.
All right, next ma'am.
So I go to school to be a social worker, and I know mental health is at the forefront of a lot of incidents that are nationally publicized. And I just want to know if they're giving you guys more training on dealing with situations with mental health issues.
Yes, our officers are getting more training. Every year we go to class that the department has for us so that we find out new methods, new ways of how to conduct ourselves when we are in those situations.
That is a very, very, very good question. I don't know if you guys heard her clearly, but she asked if the officers on the Dallas Police Department is trained or getting adequate training in how to deal with situations when we're dealing with someone with a mental illness or mental health problems. And here in the city of Dallas, I don't know about the other around and surrounding agencies, but here in the city of Dallas, police officers get a mental health basic course while they're in the police academy. And then when they come out of the police academy, they get another course that's a mental health officer's course that is a week long also. And in those courses, they are put in different scenarios and situations where they deal with people who are suffering from a mental illness or a temporary breakdown in mental coping skills. So our department, believe it or not, and a lot of people don't know this, but I'm glad you asked, our department is really, really active in the mental health community to address that situation. Because a lot of times, when officers are involved in highly intense situations, they're involved in a situation with a person that's suffering from some type of mental illness or a temporary breakdown in mental skills or mental coping skills. Thank you very much for your question.
All right, we have one more question from the crowd.
Two questions. First one is, how do you feel about citizens recording your traffic stops, and the best way you want citizens to approach that? And my daughter wants to know, how does it feel to be a police officer?
As far as the recording on the traffic stops, you'll find that most officers have no issue with the recording. The only issue that an officer generally will have is depending on how close you get while you're recording, because at that point it becomes safety issues for not only the officer, but the citizen they're dealing with. But as far as recording, as long as you're a safe distance away from the situation, in case something does go wrong, that's more what the officer's concerned with, because you're going to find that most officers don't mind being recorded because they're not doing anything outside the scope of what they're supposed to be doing. So it's not an uncomfortable situation. Also, they're already recording the entire conversation with our body mics, so video is just another step in that. It doesn't really affect them in any way. It's just how close you are. So if you're going to be a citizen that records it, we just ask that you be a little bit away from the scene. That way it's not to get involved in what's going on with the situation. As far as a police officer, it's a background on me. I spent 10 years in the Army before this, and I joined the Army for service to country, not for any other reason. I just walked in to join, and when I decided to become a police officer, when I was getting out, as far as this can kind of go into the whole why officers are leaving for better pay, I decided to come to the biggest. I was from the Metroplex. I wanted to come to the biggest department to where I would have a chance to do the most things while on the department during my career, and that's why I picked Dallas. So as far as the pay was not even a second or third forethought for me, and you'll find that most of the officers on the department, they're not leaving for a better pay, even though the majority of the department's younger and can't do so. They do it because there's more experience and more things to do out here in Dallas, and as far as getting involved with more citizens and more opportunities on the department to do other things besides just get in the car and go answer calls. So they're happy with their job in general, as well as I am too.
That's it? Alright, well this is going to be our last question from the crowd. I think she has a question.
Good evening. My question is, how can we help our young men where they will not be stereotyped when they're driving down the street and they're pulled over? I know you guys can do random checks or whatever, but they're stereotyped if they're driving versus a Crown Victoria car or if they're driving a Lincoln MKZ.
Well, that is a excellent question and a concern of a lot of people, a lot of citizens. As best as I can explain it, in my humble opinion, there is really nothing that the individual driving can do to not be stereotyped. Okay, only thing that a person driving can do is obey the traffic laws of the state of Texas, you know, have all their requirements and have a driver's license, and drive in accordance with them. If an individual is pulled over because of, you know, the kind of car they're driving, and the place in which they're driving in, that's, you know, is wrong, okay? That's not what that should happen. That shouldn't happen. I didn't say that, I'm not saying that it doesn't, but it shouldn't happen. But in those cases, when you are pulled over, and this goes for any of us, it's like we stated in the beginning, we want you to stay calm, okay? We want you to have respect, okay? And that's the thing right there. And if we start there, I think we can work through the other things. Obey the officer's, you know, commands and what he's trying to tell you to do. A lot of times, you know, these guys earlier went over, you know, our rights and stuff like that, and it's good to know those. And I'm glad you guys do. But a lot of us don't know the law. And believe it or not, I'm gonna say this to you guys so y'all know that any offense, violation that you commit in the presence of a police officer that he actually witnessed himself, he can actually take you to jail for that. Now, our policies and procedures allow us to write you a ticket or give you a warning in some cases. But an officer, in actuality, has a right to take you to jail. He does. And I guarantee you, there's a lot of you in here, including myself, probably have been written a ticket or given a warning and stuff like that, and did not know at the time that he had a legal right to take you to jail. So, back to the beginning, we want you to stay calm and show respect. And that's all you can do. If a person pulls you over for something other than a traffic violation, they are wrong. But let's not do this. If he is wrong, let's not be wrong ourselves and amplify the situation to where it could possibly spin out of control, and then God knows what will happen after that. And that's what we want you to do. So I would tell your son, just like I tell my own son, stay calm, be respectful. And guess what? Like he tells his 18-year-old daughter, if there is something that we need to take care of and address after the fact, guess what? We can do that. But I'm like you, it's too many of our young males, black males, I can say that, it's too many of our young African males dying in these situations. And I'm gonna tell you, I can speak for every officer on this stage, it's the last thing we want. It's the very last thing we want. But if we don't have that level of respect and we don't stay calm, guess who's not here to tell their side of the story? I get just as upset as anybody in here about the other side of the story can't get told if you're not here to tell it. So let's do that, all right?
All right, that's it for my officers for now. If you have questions, save it for the roundtable discussion. Let's give it up for these officers right here. All right, now we're gonna have Isaiah Langston up here. They're gonna do that thing.
Let's give it up for that dialogue again. That was great dialogue. Very deep. Come on now. What I said about that clap. Alright. Now, right now we have over 11,000 people watching our show. 11,000 across the whole world. Come on, give it up. That is great. Alright, so we're gonna have our OCC Pal youth with the index cards to come up to the stage. And they're gonna tell you what they're gonna do with the index cards.
Okay, so we have these index cards and we're gonna give them to all of you. And if you don't have one, can you just raise your hand? Okay. So what you're gonna do with these index cards are you will write a question on there that you would like to ask the youth. And that question will be answered by, I don't know where she's at, but she's over there somewhere, by our life lesson coach. And right now you can go to STI740.com and see what we're doing right here, so.
Well, with that said, everyone who doesn't have a card, we're gonna have an OCC Pal to hand you out the cards because we're gonna have a life lesson coach that's gonna be speaking today. So if you have a question towards business, family related, about the show, anything that you would need help in to assist you in your daily lives, you write that question and it will be answered. Now, with that saying, we have a game called Name That Tune. Name That Tune. Okay, so like you said, we're gonna play 5 snippets of a song and you guys have to guess that song. And whoever wins the best out of 5 wins the Starbucks gift card. Okay? Go ahead, DJ. Alright, let's go to the next song.
Play the next song.
Think of it? What about you guys? Okay, DJ, let's just go to the next snippet. Yeah, next snippet. Yes, snippet. Number two, let's give it up again. Give it up again. Look like you on the road. I don't know what y'all doing. Alright, next snippet. And she got Beyonce. Alright, well, there you have it. We have our winner. We have our winner for the Name That Tune.
Now, I want to get on the subject about the lady who switched lanes and the police took her out and then out of the camera view. And then you can hear her in the background. She's over here talking about my arms, my back, I'm hurting. But yet the police officer is not doing anything to make her feel more comfortable. Dude, she's hurting. She's telling you that she's hurting. What more obvious can you be that you're being too rough on the lady? The only thing she did was switch lanes and not put on her blinkers. Now 3 days later she hung herself. Don't you think that's kind of weird? That's awkward. That's I don't know what more to say. I mean, she's switching lanes without blinkers and now she's in a jail cell hanging herself. That don't even go together. I mean, when you go to jail, you call someone to let them know that you're in prison or you're in a jail cell. So you tell me her mom, her dad, or one of her siblings, one of her brothers or whatever, they weren't rushing down there to the jail cell to go get her out, to bail her out? Or better yet, if they didn't have the money to go bail her out, they wasn't down there to go support her, go get her a lawyer? That don't even make sense. Why would she hang herself, knowing us black people these days? When the last time you know someone to hang herself was back in slavery time, and that's because we weren't treated right. What are police doing now? They're not treating us right. Come on, you guys, let's be more serious.
That also goes to say, if her arms hurt, how would she be that strong to be able to get the rope around her neck and then put it on top? That would be too much pain for her. So I'm just saying that don't make sense to me. Now what we also have is we see all these other us African Americans are hating on other races because they're doing better than us. I mean, in certain states, Asians have a whole town named after them, Chinatown. They're working together. Chinese businesses, Asian businesses, and just things like that. And then Hispanics have their own businesses. Caucasians. Only people that's not doing it is us. And it just really come back to say, why are we not doing it? Every other race can work together but us. And it's not the kids. The kids go fine. It's the adults. You guys always saying, it's the kids' fault. We're not doing this. We're not doing. No, it's your fault. Quit being so irresponsible. Just take responsibility for your actions and say that you guys messed up. The past generations have messed up. And you wanna know why? Because the adults. And now they're telling, when these generations of adults were growing up, they were told, don't speak, be quiet. Now what happened? Not that many people know when to speak. And then it just really messes up people's confidence. We could have had a black president before Obama. Before him. But now, since that kid could have grown up being told, shut up, don't talk, and he wouldn't have known nothing. So it's actually the past generation's fault. Don't put everything on Generation Z. They got a label for us. That just makes it seem that y'all look at us as things but not humans.
Definitely agree.
Y'all just shut up. Just miss me with that, dog.
And also, speaking of that, Patricia came down from Chicago to protect her kids because so many killings going down in Chicago. Why would she come down to Dallas, kill her kids? That makes no sense. She came from Chicago to protect her kids, but then her kids are dead because they went swimming. That's something off about that. Why would she do that? She's not. Okay, Patricia wants to protect her kids. Okay, guys, I'm gonna tell it to you straight. Patricia is not there to kill her kids. Media is making it seem like it is. Patricia love her kids. Come on, you guys.
I know a lot of you guys out there that's watching this is in your feelings. We don't care because it's what y'all need to hear. I mean, you adults been told for so long that you guys are right. When you think about it, y'all are wrong. What y'all doing is wrong. The way y'all raised up the past few generations is wrong. I mean, yes, not everyone is wrong. You know, there's a few out there, but and I know some grandmothers, grandfathers will be like, oh, he don't know what he's talking about. You know deep down I'm right because you thinking, oh, my son has so much potential, and then y'all wonder why kids really don't pan out because you guys are showing them so much. Shut up, don't say this, bag up, don't do that. When it's actually the time for them to live and learn, but y'all not letting them do that.
And it's like we're stuck inside a nutshell. We don't know what to do. We don't know how to do it. We don't know when to do it. We just sort of expressing ourselves in a negative way. That's why you have gangs, because parents don't know how to teach their kids in a proper way. So it's like, what do we do as children? We don't know what to do. Come on, help us out.
And then we also have gangs because you want to know why the parents aren't showing the kids love, which is what people think they are getting in gangs. And I just really think that's crazy. Well, actually, we have created an account, a GoFundMe for Miss Patricia Allen, which will help her with her bills, getting her kids back, just basic necessities. It's go to it at www.gofundme.com/WWJD4 the number 4 you now.